Totally agree. Now, Kerry, the molestation trial that you were there for and you were in the courtroom for every minute, despite Michael Jackson being acquitted from A to Z, all 14 counts, and that was Tom Sneddon's first loss, it's found out. What do you take of these irrational haters, if you will, still saying that Michael is a child molester when he was acquitted across the board?
Oh, well, that's an idiot. A man is, in this country, from everything that I know, innocent until proven guilty. And he went through the judicial system, the crazy prosecutorial system out of Santa Maria, which I thought was so unfair. I still think that there should be certain kinds of charges brought up on some of the guys, obviously not with that idiot Snitton, but some of the other guys that are still, some of the other guys that were still alive or that are still alive. I just saw things that were just unbelievable. I've been in law enforcement over 20 years, and I've been in court a lot of that time, and I've never seen, overzealous prosecution like that and just miscarriages of justice and people misusing their authority. I've never seen that. And but to get back to your question, a person that would still say that he's some kind of child molester, one, that person doesn't know Mr. Jackson, and two, he went through the American judicial system, and he was acquitted on all accounts. In spite of the violation of his rights, the Fourth Amendment, the search and seizure laws, and all of the things that I saw that were definitely problematic as it relates to judicial prosecution and all, he still won. And he's an amazing person. And like I said, for somebody to say that he's a child molester, well, that's an idiot. And that's all I got to say on that.
Mike, let me go to you on that. There was a vindication party in 2005. I believe the caller that called earlier was there in Santa Barbara. He fought for Michael. The evidence was flimsy. It was not good at all. And the man was acquitted. But we still have people today that will, so ignorant and will just say, oh, Michael Jackson, that's the guy, the pedophile. And they never were with him. And one example is that interview you did on CNN with Diane Diamond. She was almost yelling and saying, Mike, were you there in 1993 and this and that? I was there. And I just didn't know what she was coming from. And so what's your take on people like Diane Diamond?
Well, first I'll say that, I agree with Kerry that whoever says it is an idiot. That's number one. And you're talking to two people who were actually in Mr. Jackson's circle. Now, that comment by Diane Diamond, I didn't want to get into a confrontation with her, and by her saying, well, Mike, you weren't there during this time. Well, in all honesty, I don't think that she was there inside the circle of people either. And it's easy for her to, in her career, to make those kind of allegations, to exceed in her career or to get people to listen to her as well. You have to listen to the people who actually know and the people who are actually there. And, people, and it's really unfortunate, and people will ask me that, people that I've met, and they say, they find out that I was Mr. Jackson's bodyguard. And they'll ask that question, and they're kind of they're kind of timid as far as asking the question, but they do ask the question, and they want to know. Now, the people who already have that assumption and already are running with it, saying that Mr. Jackson was guilty about it, Terry said, he went to court, and in court, he was clear on all charges. So, whoever's going to say that is very ignorant, maybe even, looking for a little bit of attention, and definitely, if you're not in the circle, and you're not saying that he was guilty or on anything, and, we all say he wasn't guilty, and from what I see in him as a man, there's no way, and I think that you're always going to have people that say and blurt those kind of things out. Mr. Jackson, he's such a nice man and everything. He can kind of be as an easy target, and people will just kind of say those things. And people say a lot of things about other things that are in the news, or other figures that are very popular, and they're just idiots, like Terry said. They're just idiots, and I shut them down every time. So unfortunately, that's just the way kind of how society is, and you can have those people who say those things and they have no credibility and they have no proof of anything. They're basically going off of just bits and pieces and all that kind of stuff. But Mr. Jackson was definitely cleared on all charges, and that's all that matters.
That seems to be that all that matters, I just question some people's judgment. It's a really bad thing. Now,
I learned that I can't necessarily put too much effort or thought into ignorance when it comes to those kind of questions. And at first I used to get really upset when people would ask me that, and then I just kind of thought to myself, well, what kind of person am I dealing with that's asking me this question, and everybody knows he was cleared from all charges, and that's all that matters, you know what I mean? And if you have been in the circle of being in Mr. Jackson's presence and knowing him, and if you're not taking our word for it, then there's nothing you can do about ignorant people. They're just going to be ignorant people, It's not what they say, it's what we know, and what we say happened.
No question about it. As we sit here on Michael Jackson's birthday, I want both of you guys to give me one memory that you could share with the audience that you'll never forget. Let me go over to you, Kerry, first. With Michael Jackson.
Oh, God. Oh, God. One memory. Well, there's several. I mean, all of them were. Michael was special. He was just special, man. He was a very kind, thoughtful person. One of the things that kind of just popped up is we were over in Bahrain during Christmas, and we went to a children's, some kind of medical facility specifically for children. And when we went there, it was very close to Christmas, and Michael was just walking around, with all of the staff, and he was quite perturbed at the condition of the toys and the bicycles. I remember he looked at a tricycle and the wheels were wobbling. He's like, and he said, "Where are the toys?" Because it was relatively close to Christmas. Now, you got to think we're in Bahrain, where it's an Islamic type religion thing. That is the predominant religion there. And I was thinking, well, maybe they're not celebratory in that way. But one of the things that he did was he immediately told Sheikh Abdullah, we got to get toys. So Sheikh Abdullah got these 2 big trucks, and we went and just emptied the store. And we did it all in one night. Sheikh Abdullah made something happen in terms of the trucks, and maybe an hour or two later there was trucks in the lot, and the hospital now was full of toys with all kind of new toys, and Michael was quite satisfied, and obviously so were the children. But that was the kind of person he was. He was a very compassionate, thoughtful, just loving person, man, that loved everybody. He had no hang-ups with race or religion or anything like that, and he was always, real determined to speak out for the underprivileged, the voiceless. Another thing is that Katrina thing. He was really upset about that. We watched that on the TV, and he really wanted to get that out. That album, and then I know it, or not the album, but the song that he did a big collaboration with several artists on. But he was just an amazing guy. You know, there's some other funny stories, but I could talk all night on stories. Michael would call me up sometimes at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. He's like, Kerry, are you up? Like, no, I'm not up, you know, but that's your boss. And you're just like, yeah, I'm up. And he knew I wasn't. He started laughing, and you know, we're at Neverland. I'm up in the, right above the train. There was a room built up right above the train house that I stayed in. And he called me one night. It was so early in the morning. And I said, okay, well, he said, I need you to come and meet me. Like, okay, where? But I'm not in the house. And I said, okay, well, where are you? And I had devised, because he had done this before, I had devised a chart at Neverland, basically breaking it into sections where we understood where he was, because invariably he would come up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and go start driving in one of his cars somewhere in Neverland. Yeah, and he wouldn't take a van or something that was, you know, a 4x4. You know, you take one of his Bentleys and drive up these canyons. Like, are you kidding me? And one night he called me and he got stuck, and it was a funny story. But when I finally found him, he had his Bentley stuck in a combination of water and mud, and it was like he couldn't open the door, and he was cracking up, man. You know, this guy was just hilarious, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, you're stuck in a Bentley in mud and water, and we can't get it out, and it's like no big deal to you, you know. But there was all kind of funny things and some serious things, but yeah, I could go on and on, but I'll let Mike go on with some of his stories.
Mike Garcia, let me go to you on that. Bring me one memory that, for the audience on Michael Jackson's birthday, that sticks out.
I'm going to say it was when we were in New Jersey, and every year on his birthday, I always remember when we were in New Jersey and he got into the car, and we sung Happy Birthday to him in the car, you know, and you know, that I'll never forget that, you know, every anniversary on his birthday. That's one huge memory that I'll never forget is just being in the car. It was just us three and the kids, and he you know, he was gracious about it, and you know, and I just kind of looked at myself. I was like, wow, I'm really with Mr. Jackson, you know, on his birthday, you know, and I'll never forget that. You know, when I ponder about all the memories and stuff of him, you know, during that time spent with him, that's one of the, you know, the major ones that really stand out to me, and you know, just so appreciative that I was in that position to really, you know, hang out with him and sing Happy Birthday to him on his birthday, you know, and you know, he thanked us and all that kind of stuff and whatnot, but I think that every year I think about that. I mean, it's clear as day seeing him come out of the house, you know, coming over to the trucks and stuff, and us, you know, saying happy birthday to him and everything, and you know, he was all excited that was his birthday, and you know, as he's getting into the car, and once we got into the car, you know, we sung happy birthday to him, and I'll never forget that. You know, it was really a special moment for us. You know, we're literally sitting in traffic, you know, singing that to him, and you know, I find myself very fortunate to be in that position, and you know, happy birthday, Mr. Jackson.
No question. We got a few more minutes. Kerry, for the benefit of the audience who didn't hear the wonderful story of the computer, can you share it with the audience, the computer story with MJ?
Oh, yeah, that was a Christmas. He told me that, Kerry, I need you to go and get something for a very special friend of mine. I need you to get the best computer for him, and it has to be a laptop, and I want it to be the best. I want it to be the one with the most speed and, you know, all the bells and whistles on it. And he said it's for a very dear friend of mine, and make sure you get a nice case for it because this particular friend travels a lot, and I want him to be able to do everything with this computer in terms of being able to print, being able to fax, scan, all of this stuff. So I did that, and he told me to make sure you wrap it real nice. So I went to the computer place. I forget what store it was, somewhere in Santa Maria, and I got this real expensive computer, and I had it wrapped very nicely. I got a real nice case for it, and, you know, spared no expense. And then when I came home with it, I told him, okay, Mr. Jackson, here it is. And, you know, they went and placed it under the tree for this particular person who I didn't know who it was. You know, I didn't know. And it kind of meant that we were going to be going somewhere. He was going to be having some guests in during Christmas. So anyway, two nights, either Christmas Eve or the night before that, I was close. We were in, San Luis Obispo, just north of Santa Maria, and he indicated that, you know, we were all secure where we were staying at the time, and he wanted me to go home and have Christmas with my family. And, you know, as I'm leaving, he said that, and, you know, we want to give you a gift. So him and the children rolled that gift out, and that particular special friend that he was talking about was me. So it really was touching, and I still have that computer to this day, and it really brought tears to my eyes, and every time I think about it, it still does. I still have the computer, and it's still very operable. I got it at home, and I'll never get rid of it, even when it doesn't work, you know, because that's something that as a matter of fact, he and the children gave to me. And it's just very touching, you know. Every time I think about that story, I get choked up, you know. But it was something very special to me, and it always will be. But he really got me on that one. And it, you know, Michael, it was like, oh, we finally got this guy. We got him, you know, because my mouth just dropped open. I was totally shocked because I didn't think that was for me. You know, I was just cool. He was gonna let me off and go home, you know. And
right.
It was awesome. It really was. But I'll cherish it until I leave out of here, you know. But I still got it, and like I said, it's pretty cool. And those are certain things, like Mike said, you just never forget certain things that happen, you know. And that's something that, you know, it only happens to certain people. And I just think that, you know, God made me one of those certain people, because I know several people would love to be in our positions, you know. At times, people don't know how difficult our jobs can be, especially dealing with somebody as high profile as Mr. Jackson was. And but, you know, there's pros and cons about it, and that was definitely one of the high parts about it. But that was the story.
Beautiful story indeed. I want to thank Kerry Anderson, who will be back on my show, and Mike Garcia for joining us. Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it.
Oh, can I get a shout out? I really want to thank, I know you mentioned Bojan Vandergriff in the Netherlands, and I really appreciate it. He always gets my good side, because there are several photographs out there, but I don't know what he does to make me look so good. But thanks to him and Jolanda Vandergriff, I really appreciate it, and all the fans, God bless you. This book is going to be out. It's going to be amazing, and I don't know when it's coming out, but it will, and I'll give you plenty enough notice. Jordan will come back on and do something, but I just wanted to give a shout-out to my man Bojan in the Netherlands.
Awesome. And Mike, thank you so much.
You know, I appreciate it. I appreciate you contacting me and you know, letting me be a part of this. I love, you know, being able to be in this position to talk about these things, and you know, God bless these fans, you know, throughout this week and today and yesterday and, you know, whatnot, the emails. that I've received from Mr. Jackson's fans. You know, I truly appreciate it, and you know, I read every one of them, and I just want all of them to know that, you know, I'm blessed to be in this position, and thank you for giving me, you know, the love, and so I just want to say thank you for that, and you know, it's truly a blessing for me to be a part of this. Thank you, Jordan.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, thanks to Mike Garcia and Mr. Kerry Anderson. We are scheduled next to have Geraldine Hughes, who wrote the book Redemption, and Michael Jackson's former nurse, Sherilyn Lee.